What's up, everybody? This is oliver88r here, bringing you a brand new commentary. Who is today's victim? Well, today's victim is going to be a little bit different, because my last two commentaries were on video game reviewers. For this commentary, I decided to choose a different target to varietize my victims. This one is on the case of nutty madum 3575, and she is basically ranting about Stephen King when he reviewed Stephenie Meyer. Let's take a look at her, shall we? Oh, and yeah, let's play a game, shall we? Every time I use this avatar and use my very own specific gun joke, I want you guys to eat some chili.
So, Stephen King thinks it's okay to bash Stephenie Meyer.
Well, yeah, he's not only the world's best author, but he can also have a review on some books himself and give him his own criticism. I mean, he has the rights to do that, you know.
To start out on her in public because he's not getting any limelight, whereas Twilight most certainly is. That's a lie!
Stephen King has been around a lot longer than Stephenie Meyer. He's already gotten the limelight that he needs, not from little girls, but from audience all over the world. Yeah, Stephen King varietizes his audience. He doesn't just go for one specific group like Stephenie Meyer.
Well, I don't think that's okay. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to explain exactly why Stephen King needs to go and fuck off.
How insulting. Not!
Okay, point number one. This is what Stephen King has been saying about Stephenie Meyer. I'm going to read straight from the article on Hollywood.com, which I'm also going to post a link to in the video, in the sidebar. That way, I think.
Wrong! I can't believe that Twilight has gotten to her head so much that she lost her sense of direction.
I don't know. One of those ways. Okay. King didn't mince his words. Both Rowling and Meyer, they're speaking directly to young people, he said. The real difference is that Joe Rowling is a terrific writer and Meyer can't write worth a darn.
He's right about that. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the Harry Potter series, but he is right. J.K. Rowling's books on Harry Potter are pretty much powerful, and they are very, very good. As for Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, I just wanted them to get the hell out of my face.
So you think that Stephenie Meyer can't write? Well, I think around about 18 million people disagree, because that's how many copies her books have sold.
Two things. One, number of copies sold does not make the book even more popular. I mean, saying that is just like saying Avatar is the best movie ever made due to how much money it made. Two, if it did count, then it would make Stephen King's 360 million look like a complete sellout.
Okay? First of all, Twilight has generated so much public interest and so much of, just attention in general.
Do you have any idea how long Stephen King has been with us? Just saying that is just being really, really stupid. Also, he has generated more successful books than anyone else could ever do. Like The Shining, for example. I love that book. Even so, Stephen King has been around a lot longer than Meyer and Twilight.
The movie, the books, the merchandise, everything about Twilight has generated so much more attention than, as far as I can remember, any of your books ever did.
Some of Stephen King's books and stuff like that make stuff like movies and merchandises from other things look like sellouts compared to them.
Yeah, they're good books, they're classic books. Personally, I don't like them. I can't ever get past the third page without boring myself silly.
That's the magic of horror books, sweetheart. Just give it some time and then you'll be able to find your true fears in them.
Some people feel the same way about Twilight. Not a problem. Just don't start fucking shouting your mouth off to me about it, because I don't care.
Wait, what? Hold on a sec, would you?
Some people feel the same way about Twilight. Not a problem. Just don't start fucking shouting your mouth off to me about it, because I don't care.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Just wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves a hypocrite. She's basically inclining that she cannot get past the third page of the horror book, and some people feel the same way about Twilight. She's saying that Stephen King can't bash Stephenie Meyer, but other people can. Woman, have you ever heard of the word hypocrisy? 'Cause you're being a hypocrite right now. That's what you are, a goddamn hypocrite.
How dare Stephen King start in on Stephenie Meyer just because he wants a piece of the limelight? Because I can't think of any other reason why he would have done this, other than to try and get a little bit of the limelight that Twilight has generated on himself. And he could...
Haven't I already told you that he's been around a lot longer than Meyer and Twilight?
Think of a better way to do it than to attack her, because he will never be able to write a book as good as Twilight, aimed at the same audience as Twilight.
Could you refer back to an earlier part of the commentary, because I am not repeating myself.
This whole video is off the top of my head, okay, because I'm trying to just say what I think without it being scripted. I want to just get it all out. Okay. But Stephen King says he does understand the appeal of the apparently crappy series.
It is crappy!
Again, bullshit, it's not crap, it's fucking amazing. Amazing fucking book. That's a lie! People are attracted by this is another quote, people are attracted by the stories, by the pace, and in the case of Stephenie Meyer, it's very clear that she's writing to a whole generation of girls and opening up a kind of safe joining of love and sex in those books. It's exciting and thrilling, and not particularly threatening because it's not overtly sexual.
What critic are you looking at this time? Because this time it's basically implying that Twilight is a good book. This critic needs to get himself some goddamn lessons on how to read a book and how to know what it's doing, because he must know that Twilight sucks. So which critic are you reading from now?
So as far as Stephen King feels and can tell and thinks, as far as I can tell from this, the reason that he thinks Twilight is so successful with the age group that it is successful with, which is teenage girls.
That's one group for Stephenie Meyer to look at. Stephen King has to look at teenage boys, adults, the elderly, pretty much everyone else. So yeah, Stephen King is a lot more successful with his variety of audience.
You know, teenage girls in general, is because it covers sexual topics without going too far into detail.
Wrong!
Without going into too much sexual detail. Woman, listen! Girls know all about sexual related stuff as soon as they grow up to the age of 10. I knew this because I started to learn sexual relationship at that point.
It lets you think about what's going to happen. It lets you... I don't know how to say what I want to say.
Then you should have done a script.
It broaches those subjects. It broaches. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Right. It takes those subjects and it tackles them in a way that makes young girls not feel threatened by reading the books.
You guys are probably getting tired of me from using my generic gun joke, and I apologize for that. But seriously, how stupid must this woman be?
In a way that allows them to read the books and not feel like they have to go and do those things. Because it's not about that. Edward isn't a pervert, he's not a paedophile, and Bella isn't a slut.
Edward is over 1,000 years old, whilst Bella is still in her teens. Sounds like a pedophile to me. Secondly of all, I think the word you're looking for to describe Bella is not a slut. She's a Mary Sue.
The reason Edward goes into Bella's room at night and watches her sleep is because he can't sleep. He wants to see what it's like. He's fascinated.
Still proving that he's not a real vampire. Vampires have to sleep during the day.
Not turned on. There's nothing sexual about it. The only sexual thing about their relationship is the fact that they can't have sex.
What's your point? Get to the goddamn point already.
And it's that anticipation that I believe should always be there. Pisses me off so much. Another quote. A lot of the physical side of it is conveyed in things like the vampire will touch her forearm or run a hand over her skin. He continues. And she just flushes all hot and cold. And for girls, that's a shorthand for the feelings that they're not ready to deal with yet.
Listen already. Seriously, just listen to me very carefully when I say this. That is not encouraging little girls to have sex or to get into sexual relationships at all. Alright? Boy. When you said that the vampire runs his finger through Maya's hands, guys don't even run their fingers through those hands in real life. No, they either grab their hands and kiss their fingers. That's the best I can think of how we do that compared to vampires.
Yeah, to a certain extent I agree with that. The reason that the books are so popular with that age group is partly to do with the fact that it can talk about those subjects and in such a way that doesn't threaten the girls. Does anybody get what I'm saying?
Well, it is basically threatening the girls. If the girls keep on posting messages up on YouTube saying that all Twilight haters suck, then they're going to get themselves into flame wars because the haters will come charging at them. Also, there are a lot more haters of Twilight than there are of fans, and besides, even reviewers can agree with the haters on this part. There is even a site called twilightfuckingsucks.com, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, and it basically shows all the bad parts, plus times of when people have been almost murdered by immature fangirls of not taking an opinion.
Seriously, Stephen King, I don't know how he thinks it's okay to do this. I mean, not only does he have a nose like a fucking skeleton, but oh my god, no, okay, that's not fair. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. There's no point in attacking him over appearance because that's just not fair, but
You'll want to talk, Mrs. Beachball.
still, how dare he say this? Obviously, he thinks that his books are so good, that gives him the right to criticise Stephenie Meyer to the extent that he's not just criticising her, he's attacking her.
From what I heard, he's just explaining criticism and fact. Nothing else. I don't think he's attacking her. I mean, if he was attacking her, then he would have gone a little bit more extreme. He's just given her some constructive criticism on how shitty the series is.
In a very non-professional way. If he was any kind of a professional author, which obviously he's not, seeing as this has happened, that's a lie! He thinks he's better than Stephenie Meyer, and therefore he thinks he has the right to talk about her in this way.
Just shut the fuck up and get a job.
Number one, he is not better. He will never be better. He is equal to, just as good as, and exactly the same as, in almost every single way, but differently.
Wrong!
Stephenie Meyer's books appeal to a very different audience than Stephen King's books ever did, and probably ever will, because they're not aimed at the same audience, and that's why I don't think he understands the appeal. You have to be a certain kind of person to understand the Twilight books, and you have to be able to read them and not take them too seriously.
Crying out loud, woman, how much stupid points can you make in just one video, and one section as well? It's unbelievable!
Because they're not intended for that. They're fantasy. They're a wild fantasy that you want your life to be, but you know it's never going to happen, but you don't care. You read it anyway, and you love it for that.
The only fantasy I would prefer to be in, apart from anime and manga, would be the movies Dragonheart and Reign of Fire. I just happened to find two great legendary movies of having each individual dragons doing different things in them to be pretty damn awesome.
Stephen King's books are horror, as far as I know. I don't know, I can't read them because they're boring.
Twilight is boring, and it's a whole bunch of reasons why it sucks. Also, horror movies take their time in order to get to the good stuff. That's how good selling horror books and movies work. Look at The Shining, look at Misery, look at The Exorcist. Yeah, I know The Exorcist isn't a Stephen King movie, but still, just look at it and look how professionally done it's made.
Pisses me off so much. Stephen King, you need to go and fuck off, okay? Your opinion is not welcome when it comes to the Twilight books. If you...
It's too late for that, woman. Seriously. He's criticised other books, he's going to criticise Twilight. Live with it.
I have nothing constructive to say. Don't say anything at all, and you clearly don't have anything constructive to say, because when you try and talk about Stephenie Meyer, all you do is attack her and act like you're above her.
Wrong!
FYI, you're not. If anything, she's a hell of a lot better than you.
Wrong!
I know I just contradicted myself, and I don't care, because personally I believe that Stephenie Meyer is the best writer in the world.
Wrong!
And I thought your last train wreck of stupidity was bad. This is taking the cake.
Okay? My opinion. Don't like it? Fuck off. Jesus Christ, this makes me angry. Okay, I'm gonna go now because I'm really angry. I've said my piece, and you can send me messages and you can bitch at me and say that I don't like haters, but I'm hating on Stephen King, and I'm not hating on Stephen King. I'm simply retaliating, and there's nothing wrong with that, because
Well, if you are retaliating...
think of it as defence. I'm going to defend Stephenie Meyer with everything that I've got, because I believe that she needs to be defended. I believe that she deserves it. Not because I believe that it's necessary, but believe I want to stand up for her. I feel the need to do it. I don't know why. I feel almost protective of the books.
Well, that's just plain out stupid.
But deal with that how you want to. Yeah. Stephen King? Fuck you.
Well, I'm glad that's over with. So you guys are probably wondering what are my thoughts on Nutty Madum. She is a contradictive, stupid woman who needs to get the fact that Stephen King is better than Meyer and is a great critic. That's all I have to say. I'll see you in my next commentary. I hope your mouth isn't burning from all that chili.